which features do you think people will connect with the most?
Now everybody have some connection at one point. They miss them, and we invested time and money and everything.
Tell me the research that went into this. How long have this ideation happened in the execution process and everything?
At that time, we had very technical challenges. We want to do something to the people who miss their loved ones and who are away from the families. You can give a phone number of your loved ones, so that call will go to them. So this is the whole meaning of virtual loved assist.
Technology is changing the way we live every single day. But what happens when technology changes the way we remember people that we have lost? Hello everyone, my name is Mohit Manghani, and joining me today is a guest who has spent the last few years building something that sits right at the intersection of emotion and technology. With me today is the founder of iAVATARS, Mr. Krishna. Krishna, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Mohitji. Thank you for inviting me for this special podcast.
The privilege is all ours, sir, but I know you, but I would love the audience to know you first. So before we talk about iAVATARS, AI technology, why don't you tell something about you and your journey briefly to the audience?
Okay, so first of all, my name is Krishna Kodey. I am from Eluru. It's a small town in Andhra Pradesh. So right now I am in United States, in Detroit, Michigan. So I'm working as a drug safety specialist over there for a reputed pharmaceutical company. So that's all about it.
And if I did my homework correctly, you were also into rehabilitation before.
Correct.
As a manager.
Before that, yeah.
So during your time in healthcare and rehabilitation, I understand you met a lot of elderly people.
Correct.
And they have played a very important part in iAVATAR coming to reality.
Correct, exactly.
Tell us about that. Was there any one particular incident or say a conversation that really stayed with you?
So I think it's COVID time, around 2021. So I used to work as a rehab manager for Bayshore Home Health Services. It's based in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. So I used to work there, and my job is to go to retirement homes where retired people live alone independently without any support of family, basically. So I used to meet them, and I used to take their feedback, basically how our company services are providing. So they used to reply in such a way that, services are good, but we need somebody to talk. There's such a bad situation for them. 24 hours they are living alone. Sometimes they meet neighbors, they talk to them, but they need some people, to know outside situations. How is the weather? A lot of people, they don't even have windows, because if they pay less money, they get windowless room. They don't have windows. So they want to know how is outside. They want to know, what are the things going on. So I felt like, something very bad, very poor people, they served the community. They were like doctors, they were nurses, they were into, armed forces. Still after they retire, that is the life they are spending, which I felt like, they deserve more, whatever they are getting there, they deserve more. So I felt like, they are missing their grandchildren. Mother's Day, Grandmother's Day, they just come once and they just give some flowers and sweets and they leave. Rest of the year they don't, sometimes they call, but they miss them a lot. So then I felt like, can I do something? It is matching my, requirements. So I felt like, I'm missing my grandparents as well. So I felt like, we are matching all together. Everybody have their loved ones, and at some point we'll miss them. So can I remove that gap? Can I make something happen for the people who are in need? So that brings iAVATARS today.
That thought became the iAVATARS today. So tell us about this company and the vision.
So basically iAVATARS, basically I is internet, iPhone. We say iPhone, phone that works with internet, we call iPhone. So at the same time, iAVATARS, avatars that works with internet.
Right.
So that is iAVATARS, basically in short. But now we are working on avatars that works without internet too.
Okay.
So that is what iAVATARS, the name, how we name the company based on that.
And I believe the first product under iAVATARS is VLA, which is Virtual Loved Assist.
Correct.
Tell us about this device, because I believe the purpose, the gap that you're trying to fill here is very unique.
Correct.
Tell us a little bit about this.
So this is the device. This is the first series from iAVATARS.
Okay.
So we named it as VLA, Virtual Loved Assist. So virtual, what is the meaning of virtual, right? The person is not there, but still we feel them virtually. Even though the person is somewhere or even the person is no more, still we feel them virtually. and loved assist. So the people who you love the most, those will become virtually available for you. And they assist you. If you ask, like, remind me to take a medication on time, I have to take doctor's appointment or something, you can ask the device to remind you on time.
Okay.
So it will remind you when the time comes. Hi, Papa ji, please take diabetic medication. It's already 1 p.m. Or it will take, like, tomorrow is your doctor's appointment. You should go. So these kind of things. So that is why we named it Virtual Loved Assist. It will assist you, the assistance from your loved ones, and the person will be virtually available for you. So this is the whole meaning of Virtual Loved Assist.
Easier said than done, I must say here. But
Yeah.
like you mentioned, like people who are also not there.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Now, this sounds very simple, but I'm sure a lot of effort goes behind this to make it look effortless.
Yeah.
Tell me the research that went into this. How long have this ideation happened and the execution process and everything?
Yeah. So basically, I started a company named iHumans. iHumans was my first company that registered in 2014 in Detroit, Michigan. So where I worked with the smaller GPUs at the time, AI was like very, less popular. Yeah. So at that stage, so it was limited technological resources at that point. But still, I found one guy who have same kind of thought process like whatever I have at that time, and I met him in Facebook. So his name is Anand. I don't know where is he now. I know I pray for him.
Anand nahi honge jahan abhi honge.
Yeah, exactly. So he's from IIT Kharagpur.
Okay.
I met him on Facebook, and we started working on it. And we invested time and money and everything. We created a voice clone of a popular actor, NTR. From South India. So we created his avatar as well as voice, and we took his all data from Wikipedia, and whatever the question you ask, it used to reply from, it will take the data from the Wikipedia and it will answer your question.
Okay.
But whenever it is available, in his voice.
Okay.
But at that time we had very technical challenges. It's not a commercial grade product at all. It was completely like for my personal use. I worked with some time, but after that, it went to pause. It was paused for some time. So when I was after this COVID, I met a lot of old age people.
Yeah.
Then I thought, like, this is not only my problem, missing their loved ones.
Yeah.
So everybody is missing. Everybody have some connection at one point. They miss them. So I feel like it's everybody's problem. So I want to make this as a commercial product. So then I thought, like, I need to make it in a large scale. It's not only my problem. I want to find a solution for everybody. So then I discussed this with one of my friends. His name is Bhargav Vansani. He's like more than a friend, more than a brother.
Right.
So he liked the concept. Then he said, like, what you want to make this happen. Then I asked for whatever financial help from his side. So he immediately said, yes, go ahead. We are working on it. And I thank God finally, this is coming into real picture. So yeah.
Because I think the problem here is universal. You mentioned like loneliness.
Yes.
It's a universal problem.
Correct.
So say today if somebody brings VLA home,
Yeah.
what is this entire journey like? Right from the setting up part to the entire execution, how does one go about it?
So it's very simple. So basically you need to create a profile. So your profile will be verified through Aadhaar in India and SSN, Social Security.
Even for the overseas people out there?
Yeah, SSN is for US.
Okay.
And SIN, Social Insurance Number, for Canada. So these are the three verification process you have to go through to get your profile verified. And then, once you create the profile, then you turn on the device and it will show a scanner code.
Okay.
Where you can scan your phone, and then it will take you to the actual profile that will be linked with this device. Then you can upload your loved one's photo and loved one's voice, and then it comes to our server, which is backend, where we'll check some AI checks, because they cannot create a profile of some celebrity or famous people in the world. So it's some privacy clash or something may happen. So we will check the photo, whatever they upload, and then once we approve, they can get the avatar within 5 to 10 minutes with the voice.
But getting the voice of a loved one who's now not there.
Yes, if we have the clone, if we have the recording of their voice.
Okay.
Otherwise, we'll give some options to the user, like for suppose a 60-year-old male from Hyderabad, from Andhra Pradesh. Yeah. So we can give that kind of slang, like Hyderabad English, how they speak.
The features might more or less be
different, but 60-year-old male Indian, Hyderabad, how he speaks. So we'll give that option for them if they don't have, recorded voice or their loved ones. Yeah.
That's very interesting now that you mentioned this. So I'm sure this must be having a lot of other features too.
Correct.
Which features do you think people will connect with the most?
I would say switch avatar.
Please explain that.
Yeah, so switch avatar is the feature. Like, you can say, like, you can talk to your mother for some time. And after some time, you can say, hi, mommy, please switch to father. It's that easy that avatar doesn't switch to your father. And then you can talk to your father. And you can ask your father, hi, Papa ji, please switch to my some brother.
So all the family members.
Yes. So up to 3 avatars, it's completely complimentary from the device. So you don't have to pay anything extra. But if you want to have 4th device, we are trying to indulge some subscription model. So where they can pay some monthly payment, where they can use another avatars too.
And I was also very intrigued by this feature of motion detection.
Yes.
Where did that idea come from? Was it inspired by somebody you met or it just happened?
Yeah, actually, like, in retirement homes, a lot of people, they may fall. They may need some assistance, but they don't have energy to talk. So I felt like, they need some kind of assistance from our side towards, towards their help through our device. So I felt like, why can't I integrate one camera system which detects the motion in the room, and you can preset through your app 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever you want, and then you can set. And if there is no motion in the home for next 30 minutes, it will trigger itself and it will ask, do you need some help? Hi, Bapaji, I'm just checking on you. There is no motion past 30 minutes. Do you need some help? Then they can ask back, yeah, I need some help or something. It will connect it to the emergency service, SOS or 911. So they'll come to you, or else you can give a phone number of your loved ones. So that call will go to them, or message will go to them, or maybe alert will go to them that they need your assistance. So immediately they know that the person needs some attention and they'll take care of it.
That's so relatable because right now I have placed a CCTV in my father's home, which is, he's back in Indore. And sometimes, when I'm not able to track him, I get worried. When we call him and if he's not answering, we rely on CCTV footage only. But sometimes even that is, has its own limitations. But one thing now that you mentioned is because for us that CCTV is connected to the internet. If the internet is not working, then the CCTV doesn't work. Is this the same case that applies here in the device too?
Yes, for those kind of alerts, it needs internet.
Okay.
But in general, it doesn't need internet. It works without internet as well. But whatever it needs, like, for suppose if you ask like a general question like, Papaji, can you tell me some news, some local news? Then of course it has to fetch the data from the internet. Of course, for rest of the things like, what is your name? We are integrating with Wikipedia, like all lump sum Wikipedia stored in this device. You can ask any question. How far is the moon? How big is the moon? How far is Jupiter? Anything, any general question you can ask. It doesn't need internet. That's what in one of the interview in US, I was telling her, like, you can take this device to moon because it doesn't need internet. You can, your child or maybe your loved ones will say, hi, Papa, please, have some lunch. You are working so hard, please do some exercise, please, that kind of familiar voices and photos will speak to you. They feel so happy, even astronauts.
And you feel motivated.
Yes, exactly.
And even so far away from home, actually.
Correct, yeah.
But now that you say this, Krishna, tell me, was it always the idea to make it so personalized rather than just a gadget? Or did it also just happen naturally?
No, my intentions were to make emotional, not like, a gadget. I want to do something to the people who miss their loved ones and who are away from the families. So I want to make that thing. But on top of it, all these commercial elements, has been added, for whatever the reason. So I would say like, emotional thing is my core theme point. But on top of it, this pulse oximeter, motion detection, the device, the look or whatever, and even like Alexa kind of lighting, everything, these things added up.
I think that reflects in the feature, like you mentioned, health monitoring. That is also something very important. But how do you think that will help the people who stay alone?
So, as I told you earlier, like, I used to meet the old age people in retirement homes. So, a lot of people, they have some kind of health issues, like, cardiac problems, respiratory problems, or some people have a gangrene because of diabetes. So, always doctors ask them to check their heart rate by their own. They have the finger placement pulse oximeters. So, they can put it on and they can read it. Like, if it is like less than 90 or 89 or something, it is something we should pay attention towards it.
Right.
So this device will remind you when to take the pulse oximeter readings. So it will remind you, hi Papa Ji, this is the time for your SpO2 levels reading. So come near me, and you can do it. You can put your finger on the sensor, and it will record you, and it will take all the recordings into consideration, and it will give some basic suggestions as well. Like for suppose after 7 days, if your SpO2 levels are continuously low, it will ask you to consult a doctor immediately. I'm seeing that your something is wrong, Papaji. Please talk to your doctor. Or maybe it is something very little, very mild. Then it will ask you to drink more water every day, or maybe do some exercise. These kind of gentle suggestions you can get from the device.
I like how you're bringing that medication with affection. I think that's the most important element here in this.
Exactly.
But I believe you're also planning to launch this in multiple languages and different colors, right? What's the thought behind that?
So yeah, basically, the device should not have any limitations. So everybody should be able to use it.
Right.
So if I come to India, lot of diversity, lot of people speaks different language, but at the same time, everybody have their loved ones.
Yeah.
Instead of whatever the language, whatever the community they belongs to, everybody have their loved ones, and they miss them at one point. Either friend, either like relatives, or mother, father, or any siblings. So I feel like it should be useful for everybody.
Yeah.
So that made me to think on work on different languages and different systems as per the locality. So that is what we are working on it to make it happen.
Like you mentioned, you don't want it to have any limitations. I want to ask you this because you've been figuring out AI for quite some time now. Is there a line that you don't want iAVATARS to cross? Like, where do you think AI should stop?
So AI should stop at one point giving suggestions. Like, it should be a gentle suggestion. It should not be like firm suggestion. You should do it. No, it should say like, you may do it.
Yeah.
It is better if you do it, otherwise that's fine too. This kind of limitation should be there. Like, it should remind you to take a medication. It should not take, you should take a medication. No. So there is a difference between both the statements from the device. Please, Papaji, please take a medication. That is a gentle reminder. It should not say, Papaji, you have to take a medication, it's 2 p.m. So there should be some kind of emotional intelligence should be integrated with AI. Then it will be balanced.
You don't need to impose that actually that way.
Yes.
I was just thinking when you were telling me about this technology that some people might feel that this technology will help people heal.
Correct.
But some might also say it may not let people move on from their loved ones. Correct. Did this thought cross your mind at any point?
Yes. Actually, out of 10 people, maybe 1-2 people, they were saying the same thing. Like, once the person is gone, he is gone. How come you can, think about bringing him back and, be with us or whatever? That is not fair thing that you are doing. But at the same time, whatever the answer from my side to them, like, because there was no option at that point, whenever you are thinking like, then we can never talk to them again. But using artificial intelligence, we can do that. So you should think in a different way, because a lot of things like, even electricity, when they invented electricity, they were so scared. It is something like, powerful, it may kill you. Don't use electricity, just rely on the kerosene lamps or whatever.
Yeah.
But we need electricity. So you should accept change in your life, and again you should give value to the like limitations. You should limit yourself how much you are spending the time with it. And again, we are giving very smaller conversations. It's if you ask a question like, hi Papaji, can you tell me a story? It won't tell. Yeah, if you ask like, for a longer conversations, it won't, because you should not be more attention to it. It will be very gentle and short and formal responses,
right?
Because it should know its limitations.
It should. Okay. I feel building VLA must have been quite challenging, and not just technically, but financially as well.
Yes.
But I feel every founder thankfully has people who believe in.
Correct.
Tell us about your team. There's Bhargav, there's Swastika, there's Arjit.
Yes.
Tell us about all of them. What do they contribute to your vision?
So first of all, I should thank Bhargav. Without him, it wouldn't happen. This far. So yeah, the rest next person is Swatika Parmar. She is taking care of all technical developments such as web application, Android, iOS, Windows. She is taking care of it. I should thank her. And she is a co-founder of the company, and she has very good connections in politically. So recently we met Anurag Thakur,
Okay.
BJP vice president.
Yes.
So we met him and we took his testimonial. Very nice, very positive he was giving. And then we met Chief Minister of Himachal Pradesh. We met like last week, and we took a video testimonial from him. Very nicely he responded. And she's planning to meet actually tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Nadda, healthcare ministry is coming, and Ashwin Vaishnav, central IT ministry is coming to Chandigarh. So she is planning to take their viewpoints about this device as well. So she is a big asset for the company. And coming to Arjit, he is Arjit. Oh, actually, it's restarting. So Arjit, he is a technical lead basically. He is a AI ML engineer from IIT Patna. So yeah, he is making all my dreams into reality using his all technical skills and everything. So he is the one making the device more seamless and more compact and more reliable to the commercial grade.
Since you mentioned about the recognition, I feel there's been a lot of acceptance and recognition coming from the outdoor as well.
Correct.
The awards, and I think the Oxford University also kind of.
Correct.
So tell me, how has that changed in the overall outlook of you towards this product? Has that opened the doors that previously remained closed to you?
I cannot say that, honestly speaking. So, but it give more responsibility to me, because whenever I got the invitation from Oxford University saying that we recognize this device, we want to see this device, we want to know about this journey. How did you come up with this idea, and where are you right now? So we want to know. And even people from UK, they want to know about your story. So they invited me. So in the month of December, in December 2025, I got an invitation from Oxford University, and I gave a nice presentation over there. At that time, I had a larger device than this.
Okay.
It was very hard for me to carry it all the way to London, but yeah, I took it. And everybody was applauding. I felt quite successful at that time, first time. Yeah.
But I think the bigger the better, but I'm sure even this, there must be some other reason behind this, bringing this. So a lot of people must be wondering, where is VLA in terms of development? How soon people can grab hold of it?
So I would say we have MVP 1. This is minimal viable product in this series. We had previous lot of series as well.
Okay.
But in this VLA series, this is MVP 1. So we are getting MVP 2 in next 1 month.
Okay.
Once we go through all testings and everything, I would say maybe end of November, first week of December, it will be available for the general public.
So this year itself?
This year, yeah, that's the target, yeah.
I'm sure people will also be wondering about the pricing point.
Yes.
How did you arrive at that point?
So we are trying our best. We are actually planning for 2 devices.
Okay.
So one is completely on cloud. So it needs internet all the time.
Okay.
But costing is very less because it needs internet. But again, it may be a monthly charges. It may work on monthly charges. So we may have to charge like $9 or maybe $10, something like that.
On subscription
model.
basis.
Yeah, but it's flawless, but it needs internet.
Okay.
But the costing is half of it, maybe $499. That's what we are targeting for. But if it comes to offline model, where you can talk to them without internet, that will be little higher price. I would say in between 75,000 to around like $800, $900. So I would say we are trying our best to cut down the cost as much as we could. And on top of it, I forgot to tell you, we met Bishnu. He's a retired army general.
Okay.
So we gave 10% of our profit to army people who lost their loved ones. Yeah. So if somebody lost their family member in army, I met lot of army people in Delhi too. So if suddenly I met one particular couple, they have only one son, and they lost him in Pulwama. Okay. So when I was explaining all this device, And that son can speak to them, hi mamaji, don't worry, hi mommy, I'm here. So this kind of thing, we really, they were crying with happiness. Yeah, this kind of AI we never expected, that again we can talk to him, say good morning, good night, the YLLO, whatever, like these kind of things definitely, makes me so happy that, I can see smiles again in such kind of families. Then I decided, whatever the profits that we are making out of iAVATARs, we want to contribute to 10% to Indian Army. So we made a certificate and we gave to that lieutenant who is retired, Vishnu Prasad, I think his name is Vishnu Prasad from Delhi.
Yeah.
So he was so happy, for our contribution towards Indian Army.
I love how emotion reflects in your every decision. That's the whole core idea here. But I believe you're also looking for investors in this journey.
Yes.
What kind of strategic partners and investors do you think can contribute in the future of iAVATARs?
So basically, we are going for investment events across the globe. I've been to Saudi, I've been to Dubai, even recently in Mumbai. Last 1.5 months ago, my partner actually, he visited the AI summit in Mumbai and AI summit in Delhi. So we are pitching our idea with device model. So we are inviting investors, who is actually, we are not looking for an investor who is commercially looking for commercial benefit.
Yeah.
We want somebody who also mingle with us, who want to do something to the society, who want to do something to help the people who are in need. So we need investors with that kind of heart, not like only they fund the money, they want the money. It doesn't work that way with our company, with our team. So whoever in this company, everybody have such kind of emotional, emotional people. They are basically emotional people who connected to their family members. So that is how we all united together and we are working on it.
I would say this again, I think this is a very universal emotion.
Correct.
Everybody has gone through a loss and they understand this curbing loneliness, which is the important crux here. Finally, Krishna, after building technology that has, trying to comfort people through loss, what is that one message you would like to give to everyone watching this video today?
So I would say those days are gone. You can never talk to them again. You lost them forever. Those days are gone. Now we can use artificial intelligence to talk to them again. And even our company theme is company tagline, I would say, yes, you can talk to them again. Even though they are far, even though they are no more, still you can talk to them again using our iAVATARS device, which is never been existed anywhere on the planet.
I can say this, I can vouch for this. We have never ever heard about a device that can bring back the memories or the avatars of the loved ones that we have lost. But once again, thank you so much for your time and sharing your fascinating journey with us, and wish you all the best and success with VLA and iAVATARS.
Thank you so much.